morning. Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Lorene Tanaka, and we are here today with Chad Stevens and Taylor Jones from Habilitat. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my goodness, there's so much going on with Habilitat, but unfortunately, drug use in Hawaii continues to be an ongoing battle. Can you share some information that Habilitat has about drug use here in Hawaii?
Yes, it's starting out with younger, kids growing up these days. They're starting earlier.
Earlier, what is earlier? Like about?
Like at a younger age, like around like 15, and it's because there's not a lot of people out there that are trying to, actually teach the kids about the drug use and what it does to their families and as well as them for their, life in the future.
Is it because maybe the parents don't know, or?
A lot of the time it starts out as them not knowing, but it starts from like a problem where they're not being taught, so they don't know how to express it. They don't know how to actually go to find somebody and actually talk to them about what they need to do to stop the problem before it starts getting worse.
Or to even know that it's okay to talk about it, right?
Right,
Because you might feel like it's a bad thing, or they're going to come down on me and I'm going to be labeled a bad person, or.
Exactly, and that's the hardest step, is to kind of admit, like, hey, I'm having a problem. This is what's going on with me, because people they look down on it like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. You know better, but a lot of the times reaching out to somebody is harder than it seems.
What would you suggest then for somebody that is watching and is saying, that's me, and so what do I do? How do I even open up a conversation with a parent, or maybe an aunt or an uncle or a mentor of some sort? What do they say? I mean, do you say, I have something I need to talk with you about, or how do you open that up?
Yeah, you can ask questions.
Okay.
Just bring the topic up.
Okay, so from the adult point of the parent or the adult
It could be either side.
Okay.
Lack of continuous education, kind of playing off what Taylor said, can lead to people just having information and not knowing what to do with it.
Okay.
And then if you're that person, like you said, out there that's listening and maybe can relate, or who has a son or a brother or a sister or whoever it may be with a problem, even just bringing up the issue, you can tell, and asking questions, finding out more information, you can tell a lot from someone, and just continued education.
So asking questions, like say I'm the person that needs to talk about, I've been experimenting with drugs and I'm kind of at the point where it's scaring me because I don't know if I can stop. If I came to you and said, if I told you about somebody that was maybe at the point of having a drug problem, would you be willing to listen?
Of course, yeah.
Would that be kind of, and if the person says, sure, what's happening, then would that at that point kind of open up the doors to say, let's just talk,
right.
But also reminding them, no judgment, don't judge, right? Just listen.
Right, and especially since there's a lot of resources out there today that can help people from all different ages, it's a good idea to do so. And being preventative, I think, is one of the key things to do when it comes to something like that, even if it's just an initial problem, for its occasional usage of whatever it may be. Taking preventative measures is huge, and I think that's one of the positive things Hawaii is doing, is educating people who are younger.
This is
and
great.
letting them know that there's other things out there than what you may think is cool.
Right, right. Now, with both of you being induction admissions representatives, if you will, or specialists, you understand how people are having to open up dialogue and do this. Tell us a little bit about Habilitat. Maybe a little bit of background on why it even started. Why did Vinnie Marino start Habilitat?
Back in Vinnie Marino's early age, he had a drug addiction as well. He tried many different treatment facilities across the United States. And he actually got a job out here in Hawaii with a treatment facility that actually closed down. Him and another staff member from that program and some residents there went and lived in a house in Kailua. Okay. And that's where it started. It started from there. And from then on, they kind of built it to where it's at now in Kaneohe.
So currently, how large is Habilitat? How many beds? You have what do they call, like in-house treatment program? How many people stay there, residents?
We can house between 150 to 200 people.
Wow, it's grown quite a bit.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Right now we currently have about 100 residents. But we always have, our doors are always open. There is bed space available to those who really want it.
Okay, but that's the key, to those who really want it.
Correct.
It's not just a parent or an adult saying, you need it, go here. If the person is saying, no, I don't want it, nothing will happen, right?
Right. It has to come within the individual. You know, they have to actually take the first step and admit to themselves that they, you know, have a problem and that they need to do something to fix it. You know, if they want to do something with their life to better their life, you know, Habilitat is a great place for many different reasons. You know, not only the rehab part of the program, but also the vocational training part of the program. You know, and you learn a bunch of different skill sets there, and it's anybody can, you know, come to Habilitat and actually learn something if they put their effort into it.
So it's an environment where you feel comfortable
Correct.
and you feel you want to have a better future.
Right.
What happens? It sounds so scary, you know, when somebody says, come to Habilitat and you know, we'll put you in a treatment program. It sounds so scary. What is a treatment program like? What happens?
I guess it depends on the type of program
Okay.
that it is. The length of the program. We're a 30-month program.
Oh.
Most people hear 30 months, and it has a different ring than 30 days or 60 days or
Right.
90
I mean, you're
days.
talking almost 3 years.
Right. So
Okay.
having someone realize that they're at a point where they need to get away from whatever it is that they're doing for a long period of time, just because they've had the same problem or they've had issues for so long that sometimes 30, 60, 90 days doesn't quite do it.
Doesn't.
So we found throughout the years that 30 months is a good length of the program, and sometimes longer.
Oh, sometimes longer. So it can go longer.
Yeah.
Correct.
Can it ever go shorter?
No, 30
That's
months
the
is
minimum.
what
That's the
people
minimum.
commit to and what they sign up for. Correct.
So what if somebody, is a person able to, say they sign up for the 30 months and 12 months go by and they say, you know what, this isn't for me.
Right.
What happens then?
That does happen. We try to do our best beforehand to make sure that people understand completely what they're getting themselves into. It's not an easy program. It's difficult because you come there and you can't do what you want to do when you want to do it, which is a good thing
Yes.
for most people who are drug addicts. If we
You
did
need
what
the
we
structure,
wanted,
right?
exactly. So after 12 months, we try to prevent that beforehand. A lot of people have legal issues that would prevent them from doing that, and they'd go back to jail or they'd violate their probation if they left after
Okay.
12 months, or they'd wind up homeless for that matter.
The alternative is not
Yeah.
looking so great then.
Right.
Okay. Now you're speaking from experience?
Correct. Yes.
I think that's the best thing about you two being here, is that you're not just speaking because somebody told you this. You're speaking because you went through this and you are going through this.
Yes.
So congratulations for that. That's
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, because people will listen to you, knowing that you're the one. You know, if you tell us a story and you've never lived the story, you don't have as much credibility as though you're talking about it because you're there, because you
Right.
know.
That's a unique portion about our program, is that those who are being taught by, they've been through the program as well. So it gives us the confidence knowing that, hey, if they can do it,
There
we
you
can
go.
do it. If they've been through the tough times like I'm going through right now, and then they're a good person to go to find some advice.
And if somebody says, I know what you're going through, they really know what you're going through.
Right.
Right? It's
Exactly.
not just a saying.
Right.
Wow. Now let's talk about some. You mentioned, Taylor, the vocational training. What kind of vocational training does Habilitat offer?
Culinary arts.
Culinary arts.
Yeah, sales and marketing. There's landscaping, house cleaning, you know, maintenance.
Skills that can take you anywhere in the nation,
Exactly,
huh?
masonry. Yeah, a bunch of different stuff.
And are there companies that partner with you to like give them internships type of thing?
There are some companies that do that out there that we've acquired throughout the years that are very supportive of what we do at Habilitat, and they know that we work really hard and that we're reliable and that we're on time and we do the job efficiently. So there are companies out there that like to hire people who've been through Habilitat.
That's because they can't find reliable people that show up to work and people who show up on time. They can't find those type of employees outside.
Right.
And yet your program really stresses the importance of that.
Right. Of
That-
course.
That is nice. So you have people that are being taught that this is key. I mean, without these three, the rest almost falls apart.
Of course.
You don't show up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And what we're taught there at Habilitat, it's interesting, is if you don't show up, if you're not there on time, there's a consequence associated with that. And that's a good deterrent for most people, especially drug addicts. We can be hard-headed at times. So knowing that there's a consequence associated with, not doing what's expected, not doing what you're supposed to do, can be a good motivating factor, especially in the program, because you don't show up to work on the outside, you can be fired.
Right.
You don't show up to work at Abilitat, there's a different type of sanction. You're not going to be asked to leave the program.
Right, of course not.
But we're trying to teach you that, hey, there's real consequences out there, and we're going to teach you how to go through some of that right now.
And it's not just talk. I mean, it is actually carried through.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, but then, like you said, though, once they leave the program, that is life out there. That is truly how life is. Like, you'll get fired.
Right.
I mean, and there's no second chance. That's it. You're done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are some of the people that are part of the program, is this like the first time maybe they're even living a structured life? Maybe they didn't have that even in their family?
Yeah. It's interesting how that works. We habilitate people, meaning that we're going to teach them how to live a structured, productive life. And then we rehabilitate people who once lived that life and who maybe strayed off the path and need to be re-brought back into a normal set of living. So we work with all different types of people, all different types of ages, people who have been living with mom and dad since they were 18 and never had a job, and someone who's been in and out of prison for the past 25 years.
Wow. What kind of drug use are you seeing at Habilitat? For lack of a better way of saying it, I don't want to glorify. What's the popular drugs that are being used today?
Usually like methamphetamine or heroin is becoming big. In Hawaii, it's usually meth. But recently, there's been a lot of prescription, drugs. Those are starting to, take over.
Wow.
Okay, because they're so easily to get, by going to see the doctor and, admitting that you have, your back hurts or something. Drug addicts use every kind of excuse there is in the book to get what they want. And that's becoming one of the, main causes of death in Hawaii, actually.
Prescription drug use?
Yes.
Abuse, rather? Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Now, when a person is going through a drug situation, how does it affect their families? Because you're not just dealing with the person, you're also dealing with their families, right? Once they leave the program, many of them go back to their families.
Right. I can tell you that from my own experience that I didn't think what I was doing was affecting anybody else when it really was. I was taking a son away from my mother and father, a brother away from my brother, a grandson away from your grandparents.
Wow.
And that's
Put it
tough.
that way, yeah, that sounds serious.
Yeah, and it's hard because someone who's reliant on a substance, whatever it may be, doesn't see that. They don't understand that. But it really does. After some time, after being clean and sober for a while, it's easier for people like myself and Taylor to put ourselves in our family's shoes and see things from their perspective. If I had a son, would I want to see that from them?
Kind of mind-blowing, isn't it, when
Yeah.
you look at it from the other side?
Right.